Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Recently I purchased a used Chinese metal lathe. The lathe was missing a few pieces. I finally cross-referenced it to some Grizzly machines and ordered the parts from the States. I'm in Canada, so it took a few days and a few extra dollars to get here, but it was well worth it. I now have all the common accessories for a metal lathe. I've got the 3-jaw chuck, a 4-jaw chuck, I've got the face plate, a live center, a dead center, a Jacob's chuck, all the common things, as well as a lot of cutters. But one thing I did notice I do need is a lathe chuck stop spider, which gives you, it's like a depth stop when you're using your 3-jaw chuck to stop thin material to going into the bore of the chuck. I did a quick Google search and found a pretty cool device on Thingiverse, and I do have a 3D printer, so I printed it. And it came up off the tape after a couple of hours of printing. So my thickness is not consistent, and that's one thing that I did want. So my 3D print was a fail, and now what am I going to do? My first option was to take the 3D print and use it as a template on some metal and cut it out on my bandsaw and use that. But that sounds like a lot of work, and I actually want to make 2 or 3 so I can stack up 1/2 inch thicknesses to give me 1/2 inch, inch, and 1.5 inches. So that's where the thought of designing a little template for my CNC machine and carving them out of a product called Corian, which is countertop material, and I happen to have some, and it is a very precise 1/2 inch thick. So if that sounds interesting to you, follow me along as I try to make a couple of these. This is not a complicated design, and none of the measurements or the tolerances are that critical. I'm going to be using 1/2 inch thick Corian countertop material, and I'm going to make the spider about 4 inches in diameter. After some experimentation, it looks like 0.010 of an inch clearance will be needed for the fittings, and we're going to do all our test cuts in 1/2 inch MDO plywood to save the expensive Corian for the final product. I'm going to be using a 1/8 inch spiral upcut dual flute end mill for this. I'm sure there are better ways to do this, but being a hobbyist, I'm using what I know and what I've got to do the best I can. I'm using a spire here to make my spider for my lathe chuck. The chuck is a 3-jaw chuck, so I'm going to be making this the appropriate size for my chuck, which is about 4 inches. I've created a project using 24 by 24 by 1/2 inch thick material. I'm using imperial measurements, so that's 24 inches by 24 by 1/2 inch. I'm going to create a circle. The circle is going to be in the center. It's going to be 4 inches in diameter, and I'm going to create that. We'll close that, zoom in on it a little bit to make it easier to see, and now what we're going to do is divide it into 3 so we can cut out the slots for the jaws of the chuck. We're going to be using the circular copy. No, that's not correct. We're going to be using the copy along vectors. We're going to copy circles, and we're going to use 3. We're just going to use small circles of 0.1 inches, and we're going to say copy. What that has done is divided the circle up in 120-degree increments. Now we have to join them, and the way I'm going to join them, I'm sure there's an easier way, but this is the way I'm doing it, is I'm going to create a polyline. I'm going to go from the center of this small circle to the center of the large circle, and I'm going to repeat that for all 3. And there we go. I've now got pretty much a peace symbol, but what we're going to be doing with this is creating a tool path that will cut out a section in here. Now what we want to do is create the center hub. We're going to create a circle. We're going to go 1 inch and create it. And we'll close. Now what we want to do is create our box there's going to be a tool path to come in and cut out that section. I'm not sure how to make this box around these lines, but there's always many ways to skin a cat, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is select all my vectors. Then I'm going to use an offset. The size I want is about 5/8 of an inch. Half of that is 0.3125. We're going to do an offset towards the left. And then we're going to do an offset towards the right. That provides our tool path for the cutout. We just have to do a little bit of vector editing, node editing to create the proper path. The next step is pretty straightforward. We're going to be creating a cutout toolpath, a profile toolpath using a 1/8 inch dual flute spiral up end mill. It's going to be used to cut the outside of the line to a depth slightly thicker than the 1/2 material. I'm a little stumped at why this particular toolpath, when you go into our view, it only cuts out the tabs, it doesn't cut out the circle. So I'm going to move on with the design. What I want to do is put some magnets in, and in order to put the magnets in, we're going to put them in the center of this area here. So we'll create a circle. We're going to use 3 inches. That gives us a good spot. We're going to have the cutouts for the magnets located in the center here. So we're just going to close that now. Now we're going to select it, and we're going to tell it to use 6, which will allow us to find the center points. We have to find out the diameter of the magnets. One other thing I noticed when I was doing my test cut with plywood is the magnet holes was not a consistent spiral down. It was a plunge, a pull up, a plunge, a pull up, and I'd prefer to have it spiral. Initially I was using a pocketing tool path on that, and I think I'm going to change that. Let's go to profile. We're going to use the same depth of cut. We're going to use the same cutter. We're going to change it to 15, which is okay. And we're going to be on the inside of the hole. And we are going to add a ramp, and we're going to spiral. Let's see how that works. And we'll call that spiral magnet hole. Well, that completes the project. Really appreciate you watching me fumble through this project. It was a lot of fun. A couple of comments about the whole process. I think it's valuable to use scrap wood to test your project to make sure your cut files are correct and adjust them accordingly. Once you're happy with them, use the expensive stock to cut the final product. Don't be afraid to change it and make it better. Don't be afraid to change the feeds and speeds as you see fit. In my case, I started at 15 inches per minute and went up to 30 inches per minute. Oh, and one final thing, when you're running a CNC machine, always remember to zero before you start, or this might happen. Once again, thanks for watching. If you thought this was slightly amusing or fun to watch, please consider subscribing or giving me a thumbs up. Thanks again.